to my channel. It's Karina from Day by Day K, your fitness instructor and fitness friend. And guys, happy Monday. I am super pumped to be with you guys here today. I decided to add in a bonus Monday video this week. I know I said I'm only going to be going back to our 2 videos a week last week, but I thought this would be an awesome opportunity to get into some nice, fun fitness challenges. So one of my New Year's resolutions for this year has been to learn the splits. So I'm super excited. I've put together a program for us to get on our journey to these splits. Now, if you are already super flexible and bendy, maybe you want to just join in and help support us. Those of us who maybe aren't able to do the splits like myself, I am pretty flexible, but I'm not a super bendy person. So this is a kind of different video from what you might have seen online, where you see a lot of people that have already been able to do their splits and they're like kind of going through a program of like learn to do the splits in a week or learn to do the splits in one day, right? Of course, I'm sure there's people out there that can definitely hit that kind of goal, but for those of us who maybe aren't as flexible or maybe have, depending on the type of lifestyle you have, right? If you haven't been stretching a lot, it might not be one day, it might not be 1 week. So I've put together a program based off of some of the calisthenic experience that I have, and as well as the yoga experience, and as well as talking to some physiotherapists on what are some of the best exercises and stretches that we can do in order to hit our splits. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to take you through a couple of these exercises and stretches, and next week we're going to build off on top of that. So for this week, I just want you guys to practice these stretches. You're going to be doing each one for 1 to 2 minutes depending on the stretch. If you're someone who's maybe taking this a little bit more serious, and you are maybe not at the same level of flexibility as myself, or you feel like you maybe are a little bit less flexible than what you thought you might be when you start, I would suggest even trying to do this twice a day. Again, everyone is gonna kind of be in a different place when we're starting this. I'm going to post somewhere over here. Basically, if you guys want to join this challenge, hashtag DayByDayK on Instagram and take a picture of yourself so I can see where we're starting at, what we're all looking like, and then we'll take it from there. Now the challenge is going to be for 30 days, but that doesn't mean it's going to take 30 days. For some of you, maybe you're super bendy and it's going to take you 1 day or 1 week. And for some of us, again, even including myself, I don't really know how long it's going to take me, but it might take me a month, it might take me less, it might take me more. So we'll see how it goes. Nonetheless, stretching is super important for our bodies, and especially at a time like this where we're sitting at home. Again, a lot of sitting, not a lot of movement. So it's really important to get those stretches in, especially because we have the time for it. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into the video, and at the end, I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao.
All right, so let's get that timer set up. And the first move here is kind of a variation between a COSSACK squat and a side lunge. So I'm just basically warming up the body here, warming up the hip flexors. Notice for the first round here, my toes are facing forward. They're both nicely aligned here. My knee doesn't pass the toe. I'm pushing my bottom back here. I'm not really pressing with my hand into my leg. Okay, just going side to side, and you're going for a whole minute here. Okay, and then after the minute, we're going to add on. We're going to turn the toe up. So again, just kind of getting a little bit more on the inner thigh here. As the weeks progress, we are going to add on a little bit more intensity to these moves, but for today, we're going to stick to this. So let's get these guys in, and then we'll move on to the next exercise. Alrighty guys, so step 2, we're gonna work on internal hip rotation. So notice here I'm setting up my legs into, it's called a 90-90. Now notice I'm not actually that flexible here, so you can see that there's a gap between my glutes and the mat there. Ideally you wanna have your mat all the way on the mat, on the floor there. And the front knee, you actually want it to be all the way down on the mat as well. So as you get stronger with this move, you're definitely going to be able to do both. But it's just a matter of holding that position and kind of rotating one direction, rotating the other direction, and it's going to increase the mobility in the hips. And then of course we're going to switch it over to the other side, and you're going to do the same thing. So we're doing 1 minute per side, 30 seconds in each direction here. Notice, guys, that even on this side, my knee is even worse. So that leg is really lifted high. So as we go on through the next couple of days and weeks, hopefully it'll lower down a little. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna be seated nice and tall, shoulders back, chest out, abs are engaged, and we're going to basically keep our legs as straight as possible and then try to bring our chest as close to our legs as we can. Try to bring your forehead as close to your legs as you can. Just kind of, I'm still warming up here. This one we are doing for 2 minutes. Now what you want to think about that's a little bit different from yoga, let's say, is in yoga we kind of like focus on soft knees and just letting your body do what it can. Here you actually want to be focusing in right there on pushing your knees into the mat. You're really trying to push those knees into the mat as hard as you can. So this one is pretty intense. You're holding as long as you can, take a little break if you need to, and then repeat that, and you're just going for 2 minutes here. Alright guys, so the next move here is basically like a downward dog in yoga, but I'm really focusing in again on pushing my heels into the mat as hard as I can. So again, in yoga it's a little different. You can go on your toes. You don't have to really focus on keeping them on the floor, whereas here you really want to push those heels into the floor, keep your legs and knees as straight as possible, and also you're still leading with your tailbone, like you're trying to reach it all the way up to the corner of between the wall and the ceiling, and back is of course flat. So again, we're holding that for about 2 minutes. Alrighty, next we're setting up into the pigeon pose. So again, I'm just kind of demonstrating an option here with using the block, or you can go without the block and having your glute on the floor here. But again, my flexibility isn't that great just yet. So you do want to have your hips square to the mat. Okay, so notice I'm trying to hold myself up as high as I can here. The back leg is extended as far back as you can, pointing the toes down. And you're going to hold this for 1 minute, and then after a minute you're going to lean forward and as far as you can forward, and then you're holding that stretch for another minute before we switch sides. So you'll notice for the second side I did add in the block once again, and I kept it there because I do want to maintain. It's more important to have the hips aligned rather than having your bottom on the floor and not keeping aligned. So staying there. When I reach out, like when I'm laying down, I tend to be a little bit more aligned, so I left it without the block for that part. Next we're going to go into the butterfly, so you can use a block or you can use a little pillow like what I'm using here. And basically you're going to be sitting up. The reason why I'm using that pillow for support is to maintain a flat lower back. So you want to sit up nice and tall here. We're going to bring your heels as close to your body as you can, and we're going to add in a little bit of extra here. So I'm going to flutter my legs a little bit here, and then I'm going to push down and hold that press down, and I'm going to hold it for like 10 seconds. Then I'm going to flutter my legs again, and then I'm going to push down again and hold for like 5 seconds. And you're just going to keep repeating that for a whole minute. Alrighty, so this next one here is called, either you can call it a runner's lunge or almost like it's a variation between a runner's lunge and a lizard lunge. I'm keeping my one leg on the mat there, the other leg is coming forward, and I'm really pushing my hip into the mat here, both hips. I'm using a block so that I can maintain a better position here. You can do this with your hands on the mat, or you can come down on your elbows. Again, just depending on where your flexibility is. Now I'm holding that for a minute, and then for the second minute, I'm actually going to be staying up on my one hand, and the other hand I'm pushing my hip away, pushing my knee away from the body. And I'm not forcing it to the point of pain, but you want to have a little bit of, you want to feel it a little bit here. So we're going to hold that for a minute, and then we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So we're pushing our hip into the mat here, and the opposite leg really kind of focusing in on opening it up. You're going to feel this in your hamstrings as well. And again, opposite hand comes onto the floor, and then you're pushing your knee away. Next, we're going to add on with an open angle pose or a straddle stretch, whichever way you want to look at it. We're going to hold each one here for a minute. It's 3 minutes in total. So first one, I'm kind of holding myself forward here. You can even kind of walk your hands forward or push your bottom, your glutes more forward by placing your hands in the back, and then holding that stretch, taking it down as low as you can there with a flat back. So as flat as you can. I'm still rounding a little bit at the top, but you want to keep the core nice and engaged. Now the second part of the stretch is basically I'm reaching, holding to one side, opposite hand to opposite leg. And again, I'm still focusing in, I'm pushing those knees into the floor as hard as I can, okay? So we're gonna hold 1 minute on one side, 1 minute on the other side. And that's pretty much it. And then at the end, you can just kind of try out your side splits, either side. So I always want to try them out on both sides, see how far I've gone. Again, we're gonna add on to this as we go along in the weeks. For this week, we're gonna practice these moves, and then we add on from there. So try out both sides, see how you do on each side, and let me know, guys, in the comments below how you did.
Guys, so I hope you enjoyed that video. I actually recorded this video on Saturday, and I definitely felt sore on Sunday. So I hope you guys feel the stretch, feel the burn a little bit. Just a quick little note, you do want to try to aim for once a day. But let's just talk about overstretching for a second. If you feel that you have done way too much and you need to take a break, definitely feel free to do that, guys, okay? We're always listening to that body. Muscles should be talking to you, be like, hey, girl, guy, I got this, yeah, I feel it, but they should not be screaming at you, okay? So if you're feeling really, really intense pain, it's good to take a day or two off before you get back into the groove of things. With that being said, guys, I look forward to seeing you next Monday for a round 2 of stretches. And if you did enjoy the content you're seeing here today, I hope you guys can give me a thumbs up. I would super appreciate it. And if you're liking the content here in general, make sure you subscribe as well so you can get more content like the content you're seeing today. That being said, have an awesome, awesome day, and I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.